Get fucking fired.
All right, we should be good to go. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, watching this after the fact because, believe it or not, Turget is not in the audience yet. That's right, I didn't even start the fucking thing. That's okay. Press conference. There we go. Okay, now I'd expect him to pop in. Anyways, we got a few people from Melbourne here. That is Monty. You're gonna see people pop in and out of the audience. That's normal. So let's see. So I'm just keeping an eye out for anyone from the team that pops in as well. We'll start with a relatively chronological question. So Hayden in particular, what was the plan going into the draft, seeing as you were like one of the few managers that didn't have any prior experience with this community?
Well, that's where Fish kind of came in. He kind of gave me a little bit of knowledge onto a lot of the other League Zero players, like Epic Shock. So it was basically I knew a lot of players who had come into BPL from League Zero, and then Fish also knew just a lot of the core League Zero players. So it was just kind of a combination of those two things.
Yeah, I basically made this like really cursed player evaluation sheet, and I sent it to Hayden and said, "Hey man, you should let me scout for you." And then and then he did. And then we held pugs, and then we basically had like a plan for the draft, and our draft actually went like way better than the plan because we didn't really we assumed the managers wouldn't be so incompetent.
That is kind of true.
The right word to use. That's a mean word.
It's a mean word, but like I think some of our pickups were a little too good. A little too good.
Meerkat also had a lot of steals, though. To be fair, they were taking advantage of it too.
Yeah.
So in particular, just like looking at the register, you guys actually kept a huge majority of the players you drafted. I think you only lost like what, 2 people to trades. So like, I guess this is more a question for the players. Like, how was the team environment? Right? Did you guys like hang out a lot, or was it just one of those situations where you showed up for scrim, showed up for matches, and like never talked?
Rocket was there.
I hate them all.
Horrendous. Yeah.
What did you say about me, Money? I couldn't even hear you.
Yeah,
Money, you're underwater.
It's
I heard my name and then nothing else.
You were there. The environment was bad.
well, it like
What?
it very briefly flashed into like audible.
I heard what
I think
Monty
you threatened
said.
your life.
Well, it was something like that. That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, that's about what the team environment was.
Stop!
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably what you'd expect from like a team that's winning. I mean, not like it was a positive environment. Is what I
Yeah, I
mean.
think it also helped that like we had people that were
Fish, you weren't there.
friends with each other already. I'm gonna kiss you, Epic Shock. Watch out.
Yeah, like, kind of like going off of what Epic said. Like even before I got traded to the team, I already knew like probably half of the people on the roster already. So I don't really think that it was like a difficult environment to kind of merge into, at least when I got there. I'm kind of speaking for myself right now, but pretty sure the other guys can attest to this, that it wasn't like a difficult environment to be in, for sure. We were all pretty chill.
Yeah. We also just formed a friend group from the team, so
Yeah, man.
He's coming at us live from a fucking salt mine or something. I don't know.
I don't know why the mic so bad.
It like starts, and then like as you talk more, it'll just like randomly clip into something that sounds normal, which is kind of funny.
Huh.
All right. So in particular, like looking at the first half of the season, right? You guys had pretty rough go of things, minus like a few matches, right? I mean, like you barely won against Engage week 2. You lost 3-0 against Melbourne, or Melbourne, you are Melbourne. You lost 3-0 against the Meerkats, and then you lost 3-0 again to the Meerkats in the first tournament. So like, how did you manage to hold yourselves together despite at the time not being like a complete top competitor?
I mean, if you look at it, it's like it's like a kind of different roster with a kind of different style. Like the first half was like we had 2 different players. We didn't have Rocket. We didn't have Dawes playing at the time, and we weren't hard committed to the ball comp. And I don't think we had Ahi full time at that point. I think Ahi had come in for like 1 or 2 scrims. But after the midseason tournament, we kind of got our stuff kicked in. I took another look at the team, and I experimented a little bit. Ahi came a lot more, and we obviously got Rocket, and we started to play Mr. Most Improved here. And I think it just clicked a lot more. And I think, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you said
so basically Dawes and I were the missing pieces that this team needed.
Real. That's real.
Kind of.
well, Dawes was always there.
No, it's just a lie.
So,
They're irrelevant.
I guess
Dawes is a
the,
trooper.
the obvious question that the entirety of Intermediate would like to know: why play so much Wrecking Ball?
Because Epic Shock is a big ball enjoyer, and I think it fits our team.
Yeah, like to build off of that, our team, all of our strongest heroes were heroes that were traditionally played in ball comp anyways.
And rush comps are cringe.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And I think another
It's
thing.
literally just bashing 2 rockets into each other. It's boring. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
it's just a team that bashes it harder wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little.
I
a little more to it.
I don't know if you've ever tried to like bash rocks
I
together.
might
Like
be
it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But like if you take like the rock and throw it through like a saw, like a big circle saw, it's a lot easier. So like why bash 2 rocks together when you could use the saw?
I don't know what you're saying, but I think another reason.
Your word count
I
is
like
like
the analogy. No, it's a
Another
good
reason
analogy.
as to why we kind of played the ball comp was a lot to do with Ahi, because Ahi is on a tier 3 team, DK Fan Club. They're a big ball team, and Ahi just knows a lot about ball macro. And we also had Distortion as like an assistant coach, and he was on that same team. They know a lot about the ball macro, and they just kind of taught that to us, and I think we picked it up.
All right, and in particular, you guys obviously had Ahi as a coach, but wasn't even like officially in this server for the longest time, not until like grand finals. So like we as like staff had really no idea who they were or anything. So I guess like, can you talk a little bit more to their like contributions and how they affected the team?
We should let
Yeah.
Epic take this one away.
I feel like so Ahi. I knew Ahi from BPL. He was a coach for one of my teams, and Ahi's just a really smart guy. He's like, as Hayden said, he's a tier 3 player. And I think where he excels is just like the ability to give coaching in like a very constructive way, and people are able to like get the information really well. Like he just like can give information in a really easy way. He's a really good coach.
Yeah, like very efficient. Like I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I just like felt like I learned so fast whenever I was doing like a VOD review with him or something, and like I'd pick it up and like apply it in the next scrim.
Yeah. Ahi is a big BPL player. Ahi, and that's kind of how I knew Ahi as well. Fish brought up the idea of having Ahi coach, I think like week 2 or week 1, something like that. And I hadn't really had Ahi as a coach on any of my teams before, and I'm experimenting, so Ahi pulled up and it went very well.
All right. Right, so getting more into like your playoff run. So prior to the playoffs, you guys had actually never won against the Meerkats. You'd pretty much always lost. So what kind of went into your losers finals match where you obviously beat them to go on to the grand finals?
Well,
Adderall.
Can we rewind real quick? We did actually beat
yeah,
them.
that's what I was gonna bring
in
up.
the mid-season tournament.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't because I was playing for them, but
Do we want to count that?
you know,
I don't count that.
Listen, my Widowmaker owns Meerkat collabs.
We
that
had
was
to warm
actually
them
two
up.
Rockets. Widowmaker is fucking weirdly good.
We had to warm them up pretty much almost every game. So we had a lot of experience against them, and I felt like it was like we would kind of smoke them in warmups, and then like when we actually played them in a match, like we just like didn't play as well as we could have. So I think a lot of the team was like confident going into it because we had like beat them in warmups, and I think a lot of us thought that we were the better team.
Yeah. One other thing that this is kind of like a small tangent off of from what you were saying. We were extremely momentum based. I think especially in the last midseason tournament in the playoffs. If like we were losing momentum, and this kind of like goes back to the whole we can't win control thing, and sometimes it would cost us series. But in losers finals, I think that's kind of when we broke that whole momentum thing. And I think a lot of it just came down to like mentality. And like Fish said, we had warmed them up so many times that like if we lost like a control map against them, we knew that we can come back anyways because like we thought we were the better team.
Didn't we have like 2 or 3 reverse sweeps? How are you? Like I don't
No, I
understand
had one.
what momentum based means.
Well, I'm just talking about
We had
like
two.
no, especially like in the lobsters and the beach ball game. We only like, especially in the beach ball game in like the season tournament.
I
The
think
second mid-season tournament, like we only regained momentum once you came in for Swifters because Swifters stinks. LMAO. Get
no,
fucked.
I think it's that plus a combination of I think we just never
Swifters are
lose
good
on
too.
Route 66, and that's the third map.
Oh yeah,
So
that's
like
true.
against
That's also true.
like yeah, like against we like on week 2 against what's his face, Engage when we were down 0-2. Remember that? We went to
Yeah,
Route and
that's
just
another
like
reverse sweep.
I remember just everyone just started hitting. And same thing for beach ball. I think we ran up to Route and we just fucking pounded. Even when we lost to Lobsters in I think the winners finals.
Winners semis.
Winners semis.
First round playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. We played. We lost 3-1, but the one was Route. I don't know if we lost Route throughout the entire season.
Gods of Route 66.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
if we did lose route. No, we probably did at least once or
Probably
twice.
to Meerkat, but
I think to Meerkat, yeah.
Yeah, the first game against Meerkat in regular season, we lost route there.
yeah. But other than that,
Yeah, that
I
sounds
think
right.
we are a very momentum-based team, and Root just I think something in us just made us not lose Root and get our momentum up for whatever match we needed to win past that.
It was the yeehaw aspect of the map.
I also just realized that we probably weren't going to win the first 2 maps, and so we just didn't care about it way too much.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh,
Strato's here.
Yeah.
Or is that real Strato?
yeah, I checked.
Yeah, that's real Strato.
Is there a fake mate?
It is funny you mentioned you liked Route 66 because yesterday Lobsters were saying how they hated that map and they were always terrible at it.
They chose that map.
Yeah, they spent a little bit of time relenting that
Yeah.
yesterday.
Well, maybe if they played Balzaria there, they would win more.
You know what else they talked about yesterday that I thought was funny? They talked about like how they played bad and their target focus is bad. But it's like I don't know, just be better.
Ole!
You tell them epic.
All right, and obviously,
Yeah, but for real, like I don't know.
obviously, getting your first like real win against the Meerkats, heading on to the grand finals. What was your preparation like going into that final match against the Lobsters, having been that they already beat you the first round of playoffs?
Well, I think the week leading up to those two matches, we had done like VOD reviews, a bunch of VOD reviews on, I think, Lobsters. I think we VOD reviewed our loss against Lobsters.
We did.
And
We did, yeah.
and we scrimmed,
We
I
learned how
think,
to play
twice.
against Brawl.
Yeah, we scrimmed twice, and we also did a VOD review of the Lobsters game where we lost. We just made a few adjustments, and I think we also came
I
to the game with a
played
lot
yours.
more confidence
Uh,
and a lot more
yeah.
want to win.
I think there was like a couple things. The win versus Meerkat like the night before was really really big for confidence, because we kind of thought that Meerkat was better than Lobsters. And like the second thing is that, sorry, Epic.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. And like the second thing also is, I'm pretty sure most, if not all of us, knew that the first loss to Lobsters wasn't because necessarily they were really good. It's more that we played like a dog water in that first match. Like
Yeah.
we were just
Yeah.
off that day. So
Literally the opposite of what I said earlier. Like, we should have just played better. Like,
Yeah.
just don't be bad.
yeah, like the confidence level going into that match was just like much higher, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we knew our mistakes, and I do agree. I think everyone, you ask anyone on the team, they'll say that they played not great on that first Lobsters loss. So it's just
I
coming
threw.
in.
So
I played great.
do you want to go
I'm
further
kidding, I'm
into that Lobsters loss then? 'Cause like I said before, you guys, I think I said this before, you guys had never lost to the Lobsters up until that point.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was just tough. I don't know. We
We
just had
going
nothing.
I
for
think every
Lobsters.
time we went against Meerkat, it was like really hard, even if we were trying our hardest. Every time, but like the Lobsters game, it just didn't feel like we were trying. So like the rematch against Lobsters in the grand finals, I didn't think was gonna be as hard as the day before when we did Meerkats in the semifinals.
Yeah,
But
also
they were
sorry.
still really hard to beat. Like, and their control was just, we just couldn't win control maps against them.
Yeah. The first match against Lobsters also, our Busan was like so god awful to the point where we C9'd twice. I'm pretty sure we C9'd twice, right?
Yeah.
And then like that
Yeah.
just spiraled like our entire mental for the rest of the series until Root.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a little bit of I think boomage just from that first map, and then
Shadow still doesn't trust my Genji from that game.
Guys, going to point is simply not my job. I want you to know that.
That is pretty much all of the serious questions. There's a few meme questions.
let's go. I love the memes.
They're gonna take
We're on
very
good
little
questions,
time.
boys.
Very little time to answer. Why is Mani so bad on Tracer?
Wrong?
That's a rocket question right there.
Okay, you see,
Rocky
okay.
put that one in.
So Monty has a go button. That's it.
That's I was waiting for more.
No,
Yeah.
that's it. And then when he comes back at 2 HP and gets like one tapped by an Ashe, he thinks it's my fault because I didn't give him orb because he went and inted 5 years into the enemy backline and died, but somehow it's my fault. And like this guy just, I don't know, he keeps asking for head. I can't give it to him. A, he's underage, and B, he's in the enemy backline.
No.
Are you allowed to
No,
keep that
no.
in?
I'm not editing this shit. It's getting streamed to the channel.
Okay. Oh, is it?
I've only ever cut
Oh.
one thing out of all the press conferences. I won't say which season or which team.
Okay. I'll be the second,
Well,
don't worry.
I'm recording
That's
it.
probably
Yeah, it was in
decent.
beach ball.
What's that?
I said it definitely was on beach ball. They spent
Like 20 minutes
Shit, talking
venting.
Drake.
It was so funny. Oh Christ.
Crake inspires me. I want to be more like Crake.
Please don't.
You know what's funny? For the draft thing, we had Creek higher than Epic on our big board. The thing was, it would be basically
That's
whoever came to
reasonable.
us. It was either Epic or Crake. And I'm very glad that they took Crake.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would have the ring with Beach Ball right now.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true either.
I guess the
don't-
question is, do
I
you
think
think
it
Beach Bowl would let
Could
you
be.
play the ball?
That's like an alternate history.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I think if we
maybe-
get
Name
Crake,
off
we
there.
probably either like are like a completely different team, or I pick up Donk in the midseason draft.
All I'm gonna say is if we got Crick, I would have been going to beach ball. So
Let's go.
I would have stayed on
Hey, I'm
blind
just
eye.
saying, Monty, Monty, how many teams have you requested to trade off of?
I think this is like one of the only teams that I haven't had one.
Yeah, see, I'm doing pretty good.
Basically,
He
been able to
pleads
be
the
traded.
Let me take this.
fifth.
Very last pick overall in the draft right here, by the way.
Yeah,
Were
Mr.
you actually the
Irrelevant.
very
Were you?
last one?
Yeah, he was.
That's
Shit, that's
crazy.
right. I forgot about that because no inter teams took all 12. That's funny.
That is actually really
you-
crazy.
That's got to be one of the coolest Cinderella stories we've had in a while.
Yeah. And Dawson, my goat.
Like,
Who the hell started
I
an
know. I
octane
know.
for you guys
Last
before?
season, I was like
that's
That's
fifth
awesome.
round or sixth round pickup. But wait, what'd you say, Akri?
I was asking who was your off-tank, but Assassin Bolt, right? I forgot they existed.
Yeah, Assassin Bolt is really cool. I liked Assassin Bolt.
I guess that's
Unfortunately, I
another-
had to kill him. Stuff him in a locker.
Had to put him
Um,
down. He broke his leg.
No, but unironically,
put him down.
like
Sure.
everyone on our two rosters that we played, I love them. I love them to death. Everyone's always like super cool.
I'd say it back, but find good scrims first.
Real as hell.
I mean, it
Never
can't be
I
worse than the beach
swear
ball.
it's not my fault.
Didn't have like a whole formula to find bad scrims. It was crazy.
Okay, I've learned my lesson.
I mean, it literally can't be
you?
worse than that one beach ball scrim.
Oh, yeah.
The
he
Twitter.
tried.
Hey, I'm
He
just saying,
tried.
none
He
of
tried.
my scrims have ended in Twitter drama. Hey, I take those.
Yeah. None of them yet.
Well, not for League Zero, at least. I don't care if it happens in BPL or whatever.
We had a match in Twitter drama.
You can
Team
go get-
managers.
Team?
Team managers,
Oh,
don't book
yeah.
with Koala Kings unless you want. Colin.
Wait, Akri, look at stage text chat. That's the gift they made of me.
Finding the worst.
Shout out Strato for that gift.
Christ. That's funny.
That's so good.
That's pretty much all the questions I've got for you guys. Do you have any final thoughts, closing statements on your season?
Was a good run.
Fuck you, Rocket.
What, what did he say?
He said fuck you, Rocket.
Oh. Couldn't even make that
God,
out.
I can't wait to be out of a VC with Monty.
Alright,
Same.
are we all good? Any more questions?
No? Anyone else have final thoughts? I'm gonna take that as a no. You guys are a very quiet team. This is complete contrast to yesterday. Thanks to everyone watching. Thanks to you guys for showing up and having obviously a pretty damn good season.